Welcome to the Tuckcast with a splash of bourbon presented by Tuckasegee Fly Shop and Guide Service. Located at 3 Depot Street, Bryson City, and 530 West Main Street, Sylva, North Carolina. Tuckasegee Fly Shop and Guide Service is your #1 stop prior and after your epic fly fishing adventure in western North Carolina. Visit tuckflyshop.com for streamflow information, book a guided trip, or even shop for your official Tuckasegee Fly Shop gear. Follow the crew on Facebook at Tuckasegee Fly Shop, Instagram at Tuck Fly Shop, and on YouTube at Tuckasegee Fly Shop. Today's episode is brought to you by Norvice. From their original 1970s prototype to the latest Legacy C in 5 amazing colors: Radical Red, Sunset Orange, Shamrock Green, Royal Purple, Liberty Blue. Norvice has been committed to one thing: efficiency. By adding the Norvice Auto Bobbin to your Norvice, you can tie better flies faster. For more information, visit www.nor-vice.com. Here in our Sylva studios today, we have Coach Dale Diesel Collins, Bobby the Bearded Wonder Bennett, and I'm your host, Shannon Big Mess Messer. Just like that, the lights went dim.
I'm already mouth breathing. It's been that kind of a day.
It's Undertaker-esque.
No bourbon
We
necessary.
need that, man, where we like
That would be
get the
cool.
fireballs to come up behind us, like throw your
Yeah.
hands.
I don't know about fireballs.
Smoke
We don't want
machines.
to. Those pyrotechnics might be a little dangerous.
Have
sometimes.
somebody there when I like do something and the lights go out.
Maybe need like a fire extinguisher, like with the CO2, kind of give that look.
No, we each need our own music like WWE.
I've got mine.
Yeah. It's like, And then you start talking.
All right.
This is Shannon in my deep voice.
It's a radio voice, Shannon. Yeah.
Yeah, boys.
Yeah, we're back after a
Back.
week is gone.
A week off.
A week off.
Y'all didn't record last week?
We didn't do anything.
We didn't call you.
Man. I noticed I didn't get a call.
Yeah, no, there was
I had
too
a-
much going on.
I had a doctor's appointment that day. I couldn't get back from Asheville, and it just was
So-
like, let's just wait.
Yeah.
Kind of snowballed.
Yeah.
No
It
pun
worked out
intended.
fine.
No
Worked
pun intended. So we're back in the Sylva studio today. We're going to get into a nice topic, which is a customer requested topic, and we'll get into that as well. Probably get an updated fishing report. Also, I need to talk about the Brian Hester Hook Fly Co. Shop takeover with Art coming up here pretty soon as well. We'll hit on that also. And with that being said, I'm sure we're going to hear a little bit about Dale's trip, Clark Griswold style, down to
Epic.
Florida, which he said was an epic adventure, and it went really well. So people are asking about that, and they're expecting to hear about that today, Dale, just so you know.
Yeah.
And I know you're excited to tell us about it.
Yep. I know John's listening.
Hey, John.
Real quick,
Yeah.
what y'all think of the dirt race?
Oh, yeah. We were texting a little bit on that.
The dirt race, other than the fact that it had to be postponed to Monday, which I think hurt
that's-
their viewership numbers, it was interesting. You know, I got home and I think I sent you a message like what happened to Larson,
Mhm.
because you kind of expect him to be up front there. Certainly different. There are things to be learned from it, I guess. It seemed like they were having a lot of issues with the dirt inside the windshield, and I saw one driver who had like their own cleaning device
Yeah,
that
yeah,
they
they
could
all have
clean.
that.
So,
that's the way it used to
I
be.
mean, well, yeah, a little different. I mean, it's the cars are different, of course, but you looked at some of the cars running up front were typically not front running cars.
Yeah.
Daniel Suarez right there was kind of the cat's meow there for a long time, and
See.
good run for him.
See,
That's what he said in his interview.
Usually he's Slowpoke Rodriguez, but he was Speedy Gonzalez
Man,
there
that,
for a while.
did-
You know,
I
Did well.
thought it was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, I'm glad they're doing it again.
I
I'm
think
Pumped.
I was a little, watching the truck races. Y'all, I sent y'all a text for that truck race Saturday after that rain,
Oh,
and I was like,
what race?
I was like,
I
Yeah.
can't believe they even tried
to
to
just
run
hear
that.
Absolutely.
like Ward Burton's thoughts on it. Let's go to Ward Burton and see what he's got to say. Well, I thought that was a little bit of walk. Well, that was just off the whales.
You do a really good Ward Burton, by the way.
Oh, it's just a wet fest. I couldn't. They made it 2 laps. I can't believe they even made it 2 laps.
Yeah, I don't know how those guys could see that.
So-
One guy said he was looking out his left window to drive.
Oh,
It's like, jeez, man.
yeah.
But
Not
like,
good.
it seems like after you get the long, without a caution or something, and well, I guess by the end of I don't know, 5 laps in, a lot of that dirt gets pushed to the top,
Yes.
and you're just on asphalt in again anyway.
Well, kind of, sort of. I mean, it's rough. It's dirt.
I expected to see the cars more sideways, like the Outlaws.
They're running them tires bare if they did that.
So,
Yeah, the ones that figured out that getting the horsepower to the dirt without ruining their tires were the ones that were up front.
Yeah.
That was really key.
What's
They were limited in how many sets of tires they had, and that right rear was just totally.
Yeah.
You could wear that thing out real quick.
Speed McQueen? He figured it out.
Well, you can only change tires in the stage switch.
And that's right, which was
or if
different.
if you had an accident.
Less people.
Yeah.
They go up there and put it
All
up
they
on
had to
jack
do was
stands.
watch the first Cars movie, figure out how to race in the dirt.
But you had some people that weren't dirt racers that actually did pretty
Did good.
They
Yeah.
did good. I think it just
Logano
shows
is Logano a dirt racer?
What's his name? Who
Yeah.
won the truck race?
Truex.
Truex. I mean, he
Mhm.
raced good in both of them.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Not a dirt guy.
Yeah.
I think
That's
it just
crazy.
shows the talent that to be a professional race car driver,
Yeah.
you can drive.
Yeah.
Could you feel the air just like leave the race when what's his name? 11, Denny Hamlin,
Denny.
like spun the tires there, and there's no way he's going to catch Logano. It's just like, oh, Logano's going to win. I mean, and they had Hamlin on the radio saying, yeah, there it went. I don't
Yeah.
know.
I'm still blown away that there was 9 feet of dirt in the corners at the
Mhm.
bottom of the track.
Yeah.
Like, I can't believe there's that much dirt in there.
Yeah, it definitely changed the banking angle,
Holy
which
smoke,
was entirely
man.
different.
9 feet of
I
dirt.
think they should do Martinsville. I think they need to go to Rockingham. Like they should do like if they're going to race in the.
That's actually a
twice.
good idea. Some of the old tracks do dirt in them.
But if you're gonna
If you
let's
can
say we
afford to.
race twice at
lot of
Martinsville.
money.
North Wilkesboro.
If we race twice in Martinsville in a year, make one of them dirt. If you race twice at Bristol, one's going to be dirt.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm obviously more interested in it. We're sitting here talking about it.
Yeah.
It was a nice change.
It was.
It was something different, and I got to hell NASCAR. Let's give NASCAR. You know what I mean? Oh, come on now. Politically correct show. My apologies, but let's think about
Is
this.
it?
NASCAR has
We're woke.
taken advantage of the pandemic last year when they were the only game in town,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
They've
it's
upped their game.
Except
upped-
for
they upped-
Sonoma.
they upped their game, and people started watching iRacing, which who would have thought you could sit there and watch people digitally race a car. And NASCAR got back to it, and no one else did. And I think it brought some people who had lost interest in NASCAR, like myself, like, okay, there's something to watch going on here. And the way they did it, racing maybe 2 nights a week,
That was cool
you had something happening there,
Yeah.
which was kind of
Yeah.
nice.
because there's nothing else on.
Absolutely. So they took advantage of it, and shout out to them for giving it a shot and committing to it for 2022 at Bristol.
Shake and bake.
They need to get them tickets up, man. I was trying to buy tickets, and I can't find where you buy them. Even though
Buy
they said,
some for your friends too, man.
even though they said they're for sale.
Yeah. Hopefully
not
the
for
weather's
sale.
better. You get better results. But yeah. I guarantee you, man, you look at what they had how many weeks of racing up there in the dirt.
Yeah. They've
The
been doing it
economic
for-
boost had to be really good for
Imagine,
that
like,
area.
you remember when Bristol used to sell out, and it was
Mhm.
just the camera flashes at the
They
green.
still say the night race sells out.
I don't believe it.
The spring race didn't. I think that's the reason they did the dirt there. But that's the reason they're not going to do dirt.
And it used to be like
the
nothing but
night.
I mean, obviously iPhones
Sure.
have done away with camera flashes, but I mean, it used to be nothing but camera flashes on the green flags and checker flags.
Boy, you remember old Terry DeBonny got wiped out?
Oh yeah,
Mr. Kellogg himself got wiped
Mhm.
out, boy. Oh, Daryl. Was it Dale that took
Dale
him?
Earnhardt.
Daryl Earnhardt
Just
got him.
bumped
He
and
got
run,
him
baby.
a couple times.
Bumped and run, baby.
They were hunting buddies, too.
Yeah, oh yeah, that
They
was
were
the thing about it. That
friends,
was what's cool, man. They'd rough each other up, and then they'd go out do other stuff, man. You kind of forget about that.
They're from the old school.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Disney. What
Disney,
happened, Dale?
Dale?
Tell us all about some Disney World.
Well, so Bobby was an integral part of this trip.
Yeah, tell them I'm going to get a water.
That's another big word. Hey, is there a cold beer back there?
There's no waters back there.
Beer me, Bobby.
There's some Gatorades. Oops, we don't have any sponsorship
So
from them.
Bobby, had a van rented, so everybody's jumping in this van. Like, so my sister-in-law, my 2 nieces, John and Debbie, Stacy, and then my 2 kids. There's 9 of us. I rented a 15-passenger van. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Collins, all we have available, and I reserved this thing like 6 weeks ago. You've got a Chevy Express.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
There ain't nothing express about that Chevy.
And I'm like, Chevy Express. This is going to look like the church van going down to Orlando. And there's nothing wrong with a church van, but I really wanted a Ford Sprinter, and so I was kind of bummed. Well, Bobby returned a rental from an incident that somebody had with Bobby that we will not mention.
Dang it,
Preston's
Bobby.
name. Oh, sorry, but he's like, hey man, they got one of these vans down here at Franklin Enterprise. You want to rent? Yeah. So anyway, we set the tone. We got this van, and it was high roof. You could stand up in that thing. I look like Jackson Transit riding around here.
You was excited about it when you picked it up that Saturday.
Oh yeah, I was pumped. I came by the show.
He came
Shannon.
by the show, man. He's excited about that.
He's like, Big Mass, look at this. Bobby saved the day.
He was. Brad and Bobby.
I mean, this is like, this is one of those trips for the books. Like, yeah, so everything went perfect with it. The crowds, that was, first of all, like, we obviously were not from Georgia or Florida the entire time because we were wearing a mask. It was so funny. And it is what it is. Like it, and I was cool. I went into Cracker Barrel, forgot my mask in the truck. I was like, oh man, forgot. Nah, it's cool. It was great. But Disney, of course, all the parks you got to have a mask. My ears were so sore
Oh yeah.
from wearing a mask because you can't wear a buff. They
Really?
throw you out. And man, them people are on it. All of a sudden, like you see this dude come out of the bushes, sir. Please pull your mask up. It's like, where'd that guy come from?
Secret squirrel.
It's like, I'm sorry, sir. He's 9, and it's like Bryson had it below his nose. Sir, please your mask. I'm like, dude, come on, man. 9. So they were on the mask thing.
Now you know how all those healthcare workers feel that had to wear them 10 and 12 hours a day, man. Their ears getting raw.
Well, yeah, I mean, so there were a lot of face shields for the workers. They were wearing face shields. And
Oh, so you could wear a face shield but not a buff?
the workers could.
Ooh.
Yeah. But this one dude, like if my hat is a face shield, okay, this is how it would be. Is a face shield. This one dude was wearing it like that.
Yeah, just had it tilted up.
Yeah.
It's like Dark Helmet from Spaceballs where he lifts that thing up. Is that what he looked like?
So yeah, but the line, it was fantastic. Like I never want to go to Disney with it being 100% occupancy.
You'll never go again. I
I don't know. It seems like this fourth wave's gonna get us all. But Disney was 40 or 50%. It was great. 6 feet in the lines, that was fine. Wait times, it's spring break for a lot of people, so there were wait times everywhere. Food was easy to order. Mobile order stuff. Man, Universal, it was packed. Like you couldn't even tell which way to go where to find directional aids because there's so many people. Like Harry Potter Land, no, scratch that. We just watched the movies.
There's that castle.
Yeah, so I did go off road one time coming off the Florida, the turnpike.
Oh.
Yeah, I put there. How like
Uh-oh.
it looked like I could go like left lane to get that left turn a little quicker at the light.
Yeah.
But I ran out of real estate.
Yeah.
Sat there. Then the car kind of in front of me kind of looked at me and kind of grinned, and I was like, "Hey."
Got the family here. Cut me a
I
break.
said, thumbs up.
Christy Brinkley wasn't
And
in
then
there.
I look behind me, and like I have bottlenecked this entire exit
Ooh,
ramp.
you're getting a lot of thumbs down.
So I just hit the gas.
Wow.
And the whole left side tires were in these ruts, just off the shoulder.
I mean,
Were you like, it's a rental?
Oh yeah, totally.
yeah, totally.
I hope Enterprise didn't listen, but it was totally a rental. Like one kid like took some goldfish, and it's like they're just back there stomping them goldfish into the carpet. And John's like, "Oh, we got to clean that up." I said, "John, we ain't cleaning nothing. we taking this thing back Thursday morning. We done with it." But no, it was a great trip. I'm not interested in going to Universal with kids again.
Yeah.
Or with it being very full. It's just the way Disney and the effort and investment that Disney has put into crowd control. It's amazing, man. You wait in a line for an hour and a half for like Pirates of the Caribbean. That was my favorite, by the way. And you get through these turnstiles and everything. You think, oh man, we're almost there. And then you turn this corner and it's whammo, another quarter
That's
mile
right,
of walk.
man.
But it was cool. Like it made it feel like you weren't waiting in line as long.
Yeah.
Did that
perception.
safari at the Animal Kingdom? Had a giraffe walk right by our bus. Man, we could have if we had a piece of lettuce with us, we could have fed him. I mean, it was that safari was awesome. So because you're like driving in this bus out through this.
You didn't have no education encounters you had to explain, did you?
No, that something did come up about on the video.
Ooh, on the video.
You know when you're waiting in line and they got the videos of hyping up the ride.
Oh yeah.
So they're talking about the night ride. Like apparently the park's open till 9, so you can do like an evening or nighttime ride. Man, they showed these two mountain lions
Ooh.
hitching. One was hitching a ride.
When the lights go down.
Too bad you didn't see that with the giraffes.
Ooh.
We were right beside them.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and Bryson was like, "Look, Dad, they're mating." It's like, "No, son, one's hitching a ride." You know, we got
Dad, don't lie to me.
no, but I mean, Madeline's not there yet.
I understand, but I'm sure Bryson's like, Dad.
No, I didn't correct Bryson, but it was funny to see that waiting in line for the ride.
But you know that happens to parents.
Oh, yeah.
Down there, and you're
Absolutely.
like,
at the zoo, anything.
anywhere,
Yeah.
you're like,
My kids watch enough BBC America and
hey, yeah.
Smithsonian and Nat Geo.
You got a dog. That's all you got to have.
A dog and one of those fair teddy bears.
I mean, it's
He's got a little bit of Mississippi Leghound in him, Clark. If he gets a hold of you, it's best to just let him ride.
that's real nice.
Oh, man.
Oh man,
Well, good stuff.
Sounds like it was a great trip.
It was, man. We took the kids like, hey, welcome to Magic Kingdom. Here's the princesses.
Yeah.
Let's go ride Space Mountain.
Oh, here we go.
And they were like, yeah, Space Mountain. Bryson was all jacked. Kids are smiling, having a great time. We're in line. Madeline loses a tooth in line.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, the princess is there. Surely there's a ferry.
Oh, yeah. Freaking
Where's my
Tooth
money?
Fairy has to go out to Publix
Yeah.
at 10 a.m. that night to figure out what to do because I didn't want to just give her a $5 bill and be done with it. But or a $1 bill. Stacy was like, give that girl one. Give her a single.
She's at Disney. Give her a one.
Yeah. Tooth Fairy brought you tickets to Disney. Well, so Space Mountain ruined everybody. That was Stacy's idea. She said, hey, let's just get on this Space Mountain and just ruin everybody. And it's teacups and Dumbo the rest of the day. That's what we did.
It worked.
It worked. It was a good trip. Epic. We'll be talking about that trip in the family for 10, 20 years. It was great.
Space Mountain's an old ride too, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's
been around since like the 80s, man.
What, you know,
Ric
with
Flair talked about it all the time.
taking the kids, we thought it was going to be 2x2x2 seating.
Yeah.
It was single. And I don't know if that's a COVID thing or what, but the cars were singles. And so, you know, a 5-year-old had to ride that ride by herself.
She met like
I'm
minimum
surprised they let 'em go
minimum
like that
height
young.
requirement.
Like the top of her head touched the bottom of the height bar.
That's there, man.
And it was
Hey,
there.
It's
And-
there.
But it's like, you know, you have to wonder if like these people in the front of the line, like working, are like, oh, you dummies.
Yeah, you know they are.
You know they are.
Yeah, they definitely
That's
y'all,
right.
y'all are smiling now, but in about 30 minutes.
You'll
Yeah.
regret it.
Yep.
Oh, man.
Great trip.
Never been. Glad I got to
Animal
go
Kingdom,
through
I'll
you,
go
man.
back to every time I can.
There you go.
The rest of it, they can
It's perfect.
keep it.
Well, good, man. Glad it all worked out.
Yeah.
I mean, it's during everything that's going on. You know, it's interesting. You know, y'all had the big family trip. We did one
Yeah.
last year in,
Yeah.
in DC. You've got a trip coming up here. Not too terribly far down the road, isn't it? September. So I mean, it's
Maybe.
great to see people out.
Volcano doesn't
Well,
mess me up.
I mean, John and I were talking. Like,
Yeah.
we didn't stop in the pandemic. I
Yeah.
mean, we still did our Montana trips.
Yeah.
I mean, you think about,
Mhm.
you know, we did Montana and went to Disney in the pandemic.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Absolutely.
you can't stop us.
We went to DC. We went to DC during the pandemic and a riot.
And a riot, yeah.
A riot.
And
Pandemic.
Charleston.
And-
You were in Charleston.
I
at
know,
a
when
riot.
that one
that trailer
started.
stopped you. That trailer stopped you today.
I was
Oh,
like,
man, sore
I
subject.
made that right turn into Southwestern Community College this morning. It's vibrating trailer. Something's wrong. And I'm like, I feel like I was just here. Oh, maybe about 6 weeks. Yeah, I was here 6 weeks ago with a messed up wheel on this boat trailer.
But you know who else was there when the trailer messed up? Lewis.
He's going to be here in 2 weeks.
That afternoon.
He's gonna be back.
All right, we
In
can't
about
wait
2
2
weeks.
weeks.
I know, but Lewis gonna be back. And get all your Lewisisms in. Bill.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome, man.
driving this trailer like that for? I think you driving this thing wrong.
Oh
Put me
man.
on the spot. I can't do it.
Yeah. Well, awesome. Good job. Great trip. Glad y'all had a wonderful time there. And,
I got to rest from the vacation,
There you go.
It's good to be back.
Oh, John came in just, I'm sore. John came in and he said,
We told them we
like
need to
this.
do 2 days.
John's like, I'm sore.
That third day felt like a death march.
Did it? Because I'm sore. Oh, I'm still recovering.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure. That's a lot of walking. That hard top is not necessarily the best cushioning material out there.
I wore flip-flops the first day. I was like, I'm going to be like Bobby. I'm going to wear flip-flops all day.
How was the marches?
The arches were good. It was
Where's
the little circle on the heel.
Okay.
Like the It's
Interesting.
not a ball of your foot. It's the
Understand.
bottom of your heel, and that hurt.
Yeah.
But 7 miles a day. So
There
we
you go.
did 21 miles in 3 days. There's some people can't do that in a national park.
That's right. Which means there's some good places to go fish if you're able to walk.
I did try to
And
fish
willing to
down
do that.
there. Yeah. All the carp in the ponds around the resort were they're sitting on beds.
Oh, yeah.
They weren't
Good
eating
thought,
nothing.
man. Good thought.
So
Good thought. Well, good deal.
Brim were on beds too.
Good deal. Well, we're going to jump into the topic here that we had one of our listeners from Atlanta.
Listener suggested.
This listener suggested, and when I was on the phone with him yesterday, I said, "Hey, throw a topic out there to us." I mean,
Yeah.
it was so important. A light just came on for us.
That's
I mean,
right.
it's
It was
perfect.
it was like a light bulb just went out.
And he said, tell us where to start. And I'm like, what do you mean where to start? And he goes, well, what happens when you go to a piece of water and you've never been before? What do you do?
Yeah.
Or someone that's never done this before, how should I start?
Mhm.
And I'm like, okay, I get it. And so go a little bit further. And he goes, how do I know if I need to use an imp? How do I know if I need to use a dry?
Yeah.
Do I need to sit there for 15, 20 minutes and watch the water? So I said, man, that's actually probably something that a lot of folks have wondered, and we maybe take that for granted.
As a coach, I've got my first 20 plays scripted.
And that's a good point, because if you kind of do have an idea.
I got 10 flies I'm going to.
Very
So-
good point.
Just to get it started.
But you've got that based upon
Your knowledge of the water already. What if you go somewhere that you don't know?
exactly.
You go to the fly shop.
That's right. So that your first place to start is at the fly shop.
And let me just say, Scott, man, coming home took us 2.5 hours to get from South Atlanta to Gainesville. I don't know how you do it, man.
Yeah,
my
I don't
hats
know
off.
how
My
he-
hats
how he
off
deals
to
with that
all of our
traffic every day.
listeners in Georgia that deal with Atlanta traffic. 675 to 285 to 85 to 985 was a nightmare.
Yeah.
All right, sorry, back to the
That's
topic.
a lot of math,
That's what I had to do.
man. Woo. But that's right, Bobby. Good point. Get with your local fly shop.
Yeah. Find the most reputable fly shop you can in that area, and go ask them some questions about the water. That's my first gameplay.
That's a good one. That makes a
I
lot of
think-
sense.
I think, too, though, you have to listen to what the shop's not telling you.
Such as?
Oh, this is getting deep.
So, I'm curious. Such as?
Not.
What do you not tell people, Dale? Tell us.
No.
Come on.
Well, we talked about this with Hoovler when he was in town. Like, we can't send everybody to the same river.
Yeah.
But if we send everybody to different rivers, everything gets pressured.
Well, I think a lot of people too come in the shop with a specific river in mind. For us, it's the Tuck, but take like Steve and them, it might be the Madison.
I mean, yesterday working in Bryson, everybody coming in, spring breakers. Where do I need to go?
Yeah.
And we were trying to set them up. Like, the first thing I'm talking with them about is nymphs. Like, you need this nymph, that nymph. But I'm also going over some dry fly stuff too. So
Yeah.
it's like, I want to hear from a fly shop when I go in. Like, when I walk in and to Big Sky Anglers, and I'm going to go fish a new body of water that I've not fished before, I need to hear the different ways that I can catch fish on that stream.
Yeah, not just their one way.
If it's one dimensional, then I'm thinking there's got to be more to it than a girdle bug.
Yeah.
Like especially if it's out west, right?
Yeah.
If it's in Pennsylvania, I need to hear some dry fly options also.
I
Is
can
what
see
I'm
that.
saying. So it's like, and I'm guilty of this. For the past, I be honest, I'd say 4 years. I'm like, the Jackson County delayed harvest of the Tuck is like nymph only. But I feel like I've been short selling it, and man, the hatches this year, and I know Shannon's fished it more dry flies than I have. Man, the hatches, I mean, the fish have responded.
Last night when I was driving home from your house, they were hitting topwater like crazy
Yeah.
down there in the bend.
There's brim down there that do that.
They
too.
were coming out of the water.
Were
Like I
they?
saw
You saw
trout jumping.
Man, one jumped into an osprey's hand today.
Wow.
I got him. But no, so I think you do. I think if you go into a fly shop, you need to be listening for that 2 to 3 dimensional way you can fish that creek or river.
Yeah.
Like and ask that question. Like, okay, are there any hatches? And make sure you have a few of those.
So when you get to the river, after the fly shop's kind of hopefully giving you good intel and it's the body of water you want to fish, or Shannon, what do you do when you first get there besides putting your waders on and putting your rod together?
Cuss the fly shop. No, I'm just there. You go. God, that's
Man,
the humor.
we're beating this down
We're
here.
beating. Nah, my approach is, I really just kind of want to look at the area and expect it, and for a couple of things. Number one, I want to see if anything's been disturbed. That tells me that if someone has made their way up through that particular area. So I'm
So
looking.
wet footprints.
I'm looking for
Yeah.
wet footprints. Has moss been overturned? Things like that. That's pretty fresh.
He's like an Indian.
do you
Man.
taste
He's
it?
like tracking people.
well, I
Do
mean,
you taste the moss,
no, but
or is that that's the dung?
not it in it either. But
You ever been hunting in the woods and you touch the poop to see the scat to see how fresh it is?
no, but you can usually tell if it's dry or not. I mean, you can tell by the color.
Okay.
I mean, that's one thing. And as you
That's
go,
another
like with your
topic.
deer,
That's totally
I mean, it is. But I mean, you can tell. As far as that,
I just see Shannon.
you can tell some really fresh
I
bears.
see Shannon. I see Shannon on the bank in a ghillie suit.
He's kind of got
What was
that
it-
on
what was
right
that?
now with that
Does-
shirt.
Hey, does camouflage work? That was that Bush commercial. Camouflage.
That's right.
That's a good one. But that's really good. But I do. I look for that. And the other thing I look for, I observe, is I want to see what's in the spider webs. And that's going to tell me, what bugs have been active. So if you've got a fresh spider web, which you usually get a lot overnight, if it's still got some dew on it right there, it's real.
So if you're on a guided trip with Shannon, about 11 o'clock, you'll start fishing.
No, you asked what I do.
Yeah,
And these are things where it's going to tell you. So here's maybe a little bit of a roadmap or a menu of what's been happening overnight or within the last 24 hours.
Yeah, that's right.
And you can see, okay, here's some little Yellowstone flies. So Yellow Sally has been coming off roughly a size 18. So you can kind of see what bugs have been happening, and also looking on the rocks. If you see a lot of wet stonefly casings, probably overnight they crawled out and hatched out. So potentially the fish might have gorged themselves overnight. So the fishing that morning may be a little bit slow. So those are some things that I'll kind of visually look at, and then of course understanding the water, looking at it and say, hey, I can get in here, and I can disturb the water the least amount by starting here, and I want to approach each area by being able to fish it the most with the fewest moves is what I'm getting at. So the less I can move in the water and effectively fish it, I feel like for me it's going to increase my odds. So I have to kind of look at it and gauge that.
Yeah.
And then deciding, do I use a dry fly or do I use a nymph? Of course, I love dry flies, but that may not always be the case. So you may have to drop something off of it, such as a little pheasant tail or something like that. And that's where observing. Somebody's phone's going off. It may be me. I don't know.
No, it's still.
But looking and seeing what Mother Nature has provided for you. If you see bugs flying, you say, okay, this is what's happening here. And if not, then maybe you have to start maybe something a little bit subsurface.
Yeah.
I want to caution folks. People, they come in and ask, what hatches do you have? What hatches do you have? And I say, forget about hatches because they're so inconsistent here. Other parts of the East Coast, you're going to get those predictable, type hatches. Here, if you get some, they're very inconsistent at best. I think you focus more on colors, and just kind of work it like that. And I think you just kind of start making your way at that point. Prior to getting there, if you're looking at maps, we talked about that last year. One of our topics were some tools that we like to use, and this really kind of falls into it. A digital map, maybe topography, and maybe a satellite image. to start picking out an area maybe where you can access the water or have an idea what you're getting into. And that's kind of how I, look to approach it personally.
I usually just walk up and throw a couple rocks in and go, "Yep, they scattered. There's fish here, boys. Let's jump on it."
Well, with kids, that's definitely possible.
I don't know that. Maybe I dumb it down because I need to, but I'm a bull in a china shop. I mean, people know me or fished with me or done any project with me. Like Shannon knows I do not like taking time to read directions, and so I'm in the water. I'm 8 out the gate, and I'm hitting it. And we were kind of talking about this before. It's like, every guided trip I start with, I've got 2 rods rigged up with dropper rigs, and every one of them is different. So I'm starting with 4 nymphs, and then we're going to go from there. So, and today it took, today was a slower day. It took about an hour to get the right one on there after trial and error. That one didn't work. Let's go to this one. Let's go to this one. But they're within that 10 that I've got, and I was excited. I caught something on something that I hadn't before. So I was like, oh, that fly's working. And then nothing for an hour. Well, that fly's not working. So I don't know. It's just trial and error. I'm going to start with nymphs, but if I'm on a creek, like a national park creek, and it's between, it's mid-morning, that 10 to 3, it's dry dropper from the get-go. So I like seeing fish eat that dry fly. I know I'll catch more fish on nymphs, but I don't know. It's just my preference. So
do y'all, I think most people, but we obviously have listeners that may be new to it, y'all approach everything going upstream, right? For the most part?
I do.
Mm-hmm.
And however, there's an exception to every rule.
Absolutely.
And people who've been out with me on a trip, they know I use that phrase. There's an exception to every rule. Meaning that I'm working my way upstream, but there's a particular hole that I need to get a drift into, just a really good presentation.
Yeah.
But you can't from this particular angle due to, turbulence of the water and things like that.
Or just vegetation obstruction,
sure.
Whatever. Yeah.
Just whatever it is. So I will get that approach, and I say it's risk reward. I would rather risk the fish seeing me and spooking it, but get a really good presentation to it, than them not see me and get a real crappy presentation where it's just drug through and stuff. Because I feel like the first decision that you make by getting, potentially getting busted, gives me a greater shot of getting a fish than coming in by not getting busted, with them seeing me and just getting a crappy drift.
That's
so
right.
I believe it exists. And
I've said in that presentation, you got to play chess. I mean, you got to map your moves for sure, and how to approach it.
Sure. And that, you don't have to necessarily be in a wild stream for that. It could be, the tailwater over here, and based upon water flows, you may have to come into it from a different angle.
If I fall down, where is my exit? Where am I get back up if I fall in this water?
Hopefully not a mile down.
Yeah.
I guess the one thing would be, if you're in like a tailwater or something where you can streamer fish, a lot of streamer fishermen work downstream. They don't necessarily work upstream because you're swinging flies below you. In that aspect, you're trying to get that, kind of swing and bait fish look. So that's probably something where you'd work downstream. But I think in the same boat as you, Shannon. Mostly it's going to be upstream, whether it's nymphs or dries or whatnot. Working it until a great example is sometimes even after I've worked like a long pull that I could get presentation good, I'll still throw a cast and then like stack mend it down the pull just to see will something eat it coming without the line being downstream of it or sideways from it. Will they touch it then just to find out? So I think that's just that trial and error, like Dale was saying. Even with presentation, it's like try different things that you don't normally do to see like, man, the fish reacted to that somehow.
Right.
So it's definitely an interesting thing. What about like tippet? We've talked a lot about flies. Do y'all have like a certain tippet that's a go-to? Or, I mean, obviously if you go to a fly shop in an area that you're not familiar with, hopefully they'll give you some suggestions like, use 2X or 6X depending on what it is. But do y'all have like your go-to, I always start with 6X or I always start with 4X or 5X? It's middle of the road. Like what's y'all's thoughts there?
This spring it has been nothing but 6X fluoro. Like I know when they first threw the fish in, I probably could have used something stronger, but the numbers with 6X fluorocarbon, I think are just that much greater than 5X. And I mean, it crossed my mind today. I've fished about half the time with 5X, a 9-foot 5X leader, and then on the dropper I had 6X. Everything was on the dropper. So
Is that because of the tippet or the bug?
Uh,
Oh, the questions we'll never know. The
Well,
answer.
can't answer those questions.
The scientific thing is that just where the fish are suspended and they're not actually
That's
coming
it,
up too.
Yeah,
So you
the depth.
don't really know.
Well,
Yeah,
I
there's
was
no way
in
to
line
answer that.
droppers all day today.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they were both on the bottom, but no, I think that's just my experience this spring. Now you go somewhere else and it's 14-foot 7X, all that stuff, or it's hopper season in the West and it's 2X. They don't care.
Yeah.
But around here, I've just like a trout hunter 6X fluorocarb. That new Rio stuff has been fantastic.
Yeah.
And they've got the half sizes.
Good, because I ordered more of that.
yeah.
Today.
It's been fantastic to fish with. And so that's been my go-to. But I'm fluoro even on dries.
Yeah.
I don't mess around with carrying mono and fluoro, and I just think the I don't know, the attributes of fishing monofilament over fluorocarbon are so marginal that it's not worth losing the break strength and light refractivity.
That's a big word.
I don't even know if it has a word.
It is.
That might be the Highland Brewing Company Star Chaser White talking, but
So
it worked. It worked in Yellowstone, so I'm like, if it works here, I can fish fluorocarbon anywhere.
I, on the other hand, do not disagree with what Dill says. However, I probably fished the biggest tippet or leader tippet than anybody else in the shop.
I thought you were about to say, however, he's doing it wrong.
No.
And that's okay.
And that comes down to what your belief is.
Yeah.
Because whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. So if it works for you, that's what you do.
That's it. Yeah.
John says you're either right or you're happy.
And the rule of thumb is you take the fly size and divide it by 3 to come
Yeah.
up with what size
I ain't never heard
leader
that.
tippet that you should be using.
Yeah.
What? Say that
So,
again?
for instance, you take the size of the fly. So if you're fishing a size 12,
Okay.
divide it by 3, your answer is 4. So you should be using 4X, and that
If you're
gives you the
fishing an
strength.
18, you should be using 6.
That gives you the ability to turn that fly over in your cast.
Yeah.
I learned something today, guys.
Okay. So
good.
I'm with you, Scott.
So I actually probably fish a little bit heavier leader tippet combos in a lot of cases, not all the time, based upon the size flies I'm throwing. Now, with that being said, a lot of my presentations on a dry fly are glorified cane pole fishing.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily, on the water in a lot of cases.
Yeah, well, the creek's small enough that you can hold everything off the water and get a good drift. and
Absolutely.
no
Even,
drag.
right, even a messer fork. I mean, if you look at those things like that, it's still that way. Do I think it matters subsurface? Yes. And I think that's scientifically proven, and it's based more upon the diameter of the fly. We had the UV light, and you were doing the video with fluorocarbon and mono, and you could see the difference with the light refraction with that. And honestly, don't know how keen or dialed in fish are when it comes to that stuff. I don't know. I have no clue. However, if you believe in it, then do it. Fluorocarbon subsurface has a lot of advantages. Number one, the abrasion resistance is definitely worth the extra money. But when you are trying to get your bug into a certain depth in a short amount of time, having something that's stronger but a much thinner diameter is certainly going to be advantageous to you.
Right.
And I think that's a really good decision to do that. Do I feel like fluorocarbon is a drawback with dry flies? Absolutely not. None whatsoever.
Yeah.
I don't. And so when you make that decision, if your approach is to go this way with it, then go with it. But I typically use something a little bit bigger and have had success with it for years. And, and you throw out, out west with, you're throwing hoppers and stuff, you need to be using a 2X. You need to be using that because of the size.
Yeah.
If not, you're really doing an injustice. As as a guide, you think, Steve or Nicholas or Nicole, they want to make it even more difficult for someone to throw that, that size 6 hopper.
No, I mean, that one year it was just like, well, how how thick a tippet can we get away with?
Yeah.
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 I mean, because we'll start with 4X sometimes.
Yeah.
And we're fishing pretty big.
Mhm.
So what if you're fishing a size 4 hopper?
Mhm.
You can't divide that by 3.
I mean, it's common. I mean, let's look here. Let's be realistic.
What you gonna do?
There's always an exception to the rule, as I said earlier.
Yeah.
There's this
I mean,
Got
now-
a maximum of 20-pound, baby.
now, but let's talk about the observing. You know, do you get to a pool? Let's say you get it to a long flat, and you maybe you camouflage like this, and you're in the roto or whatever, and you're watching this, and you see fish rising up. Obviously, you see that they're eating, and maybe they're eating small. Is it a wise idea to go out there with that fly? You know, a size 12 with 4X? I don't know. I'm going to give it a shot, but I may tie a smaller dry off the back, and I'm going to go much smaller on that tippet on that one for sure.
I'm going to choose a dry fly I can see.
Yes. Now, when you get the fish come up, and you know, when they come up to your fly, and you've got a good drift, and they just kind of come and they do that turn. That's when you can start doing the adjustments. You know, is your fly riding too high? If it's a caddis, take your forceps with scissors and cut the hackle off and let it set lower in the water.
Yeah.
Sometimes that'll be, even with a mayfly. I've seen that, just cutting that hackle and let it set like a comparative style.
Yeah.
Be a game changer. But maybe it is tippet size. And that's where fishing with your eyes and downsizing can make the difference and has made the difference.
Yeah.
And it's just the most awesome meat you'll ever get, because you solved the problem. They presented you with the problem. They refused you. You made adjustments. You got it. And it all came together.
Right.
And that's where, you know, that observation we talk about when you approach the water and what to do, that's where you have to put it all
Are you
together.
taking soap notes on the river, Shannon?
Pardon me?
Soap notes? You know what soap notes are?
I
I use them in like doctor stuff, PT, and
I've never
don't
heard
know what
Kara
a
say anything about
soap notes. What are you talking about?
it's soap. It's acronyms.
Okay.
So I don't remember the acronyms.
Oh,
from
okay.
my work.
Okay.
SOAP
All right.
stands for, I don't know.
Okay.
Don't
Don't
Yeah, I
drop
think
the soap.
I think from everything, the biggest thing is the approach on the water.
Yeah.
Is when you get there, take the time to look, like you said before, plan out your route. And I think we've all said this in the shop before, is you got to think like a fish. You can't go in there thinking like a fisherman. Think like a fish. Like,
Sure.
where would I be if I were a fish? How would I eat? Where's the easiest spot to sit and still get food? All that good stuff. So you got to kind of plan through that.
Right.
And then the tippet and flies will come to you
Right.
as you progress through the day.
Right.
I think.
I think so too. I think you have to approach it first and foremost with confidence in yourself.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think if we could come up with the number one thing, how do you approach it? Go with it with confidence. Be confident in your ability, whether you're a beginner, intermediate, advanced, or pro. Go with it. Hey, I can effectively fish this way, and if that's all you can do, then go for it, and then start branching off from it.
Yeah.
So confidence when you approach it is probably the most important thing that you can have.
Yeah.
You want to step in the batter's box with zero confidence you're going to hit off Randy Johnson? You stand no chance.
Oof.
You know?
He killed that bird.
He killed a bird. But the bird had confidence he could get in front of him before he got hit with the ball. But he gave it a shot. Didn't work out, but he tried.
Isn't that crazy? Like, what are the odds of that?
That was crazy.
Dude, every night there's another pitcher throwing 95, 100 miles an hour. Every night.
Mhm.
There's more and more of them.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think just being there is a start. That's how you start. Just be there.
Yeah. Can't catch a fish in the fly shop
Or in traffic.
or in traffic.
Yeah.
Scott,
Absolutely.
come see us.
I always tell people the river don't go nowhere. I mean, because you can live here, and I've done it. You can live here and get so busy you never go fish.
Yeah.
Amen.
And that sucks.
Yeah.
And I'm a quarter mile above the tuck.
Yes, you are. You're the closest. And then I'm
So-
probably, Bobby and I are probably about the same distance
Yeah.
for sure. But you're absolutely correct. That is, you can get so caught up in things and not get there. And it's like the myth. People think we work in a fly shop, we fish a lot. And that's not the case.
I was talking to
Farther
Adam
from the
about
truth.
today. He's like, man, I haven't been fishing in a while. And I was like, dude, you ain't going to fish as much as you did before.
That's right.
You work in a fly shop now. Like,
Yeah.
It just don't happen.
Even when you're
But
guiding.
we're fishing through guiding. We're
Vicariously.
fishing through
Yes.
helping people in the shop and that
Absolutely.
type of thing for sure. And that's not the same.
Right.
I mean, when Bobby and I went fishing with Steve, that's the first like completely carefree
Mhm.
day on the water I've had, and I couldn't tell you when.
Hey, that's a great example, actually. Though me, you, and Steve, we were fishing the same body of water. We were leapfrogging.
Mhm.
You know.
Yes.
And we were hitting. I was throwing straight up dry, so I was hitting stuff before them. And then Dale was throwing a dry dropper, and Steve was straight up nymphing.
Yep.
And we all had success. All had eats that we missed. We all caught a few fish. So it just shows that it's not the fly necessarily. It's getting good presentation and doing everything as best you can as you run through it. And I mean, they were catching fish behind me after I went through and actually fished dries.
Right.
They were coming behind me and catching fish. So it's like that is totally possible. So don't get hung up on I'm fishing the wrong fly.
Mhm.
I think people get totally involved in that, and there's so many tactics and ways to catch fish out there. So
The other point that's you can take away from that is the fact that if you're fishing with someone, you can do that style. You can alternate holes, or you have to give yourself quite a bit of distance and say, hey, I'm going to fish up to this point, and this person starts here. But for that to be effective with what the three of you folks did that weekend is you had to move carefully through the water
yeah,
and not blow it out.
yeah,
Mhm.
So it can be done.
absolutely.
And if you do it right, it
Yeah.
certainly can. But the flip side of that, if you've got someone that's had difficulty waiting and they've gone through and they totally splashed it, that's where
Yeah.
I'm saying, hey, look on the rocks. If
Yeah.
it's maybe a telltale sign that somebody's been there. It's going to shut it down
Yeah.
on wild fish. Stock fish a little different. Stock fish a little bit more tolerable
Yeah.
than a wild fish, and a lot of predation and just living there naturally.
Now I will say that day, I think Steve probably had more fish caught,
Oh yeah.
more opportunities. He was nymphing.
Yes.
That was the better choice, probably.
Sure.
If you want to catch numbers, depending on your style.
It always is, I think.
But it's that whole thing too of we all three caught fish. But say you were out there with your friends, and it's almost like what Dale was talking about with his two rods. If you're fishing something different than me, and I'm fishing something different, and Dale's fishing something, one of us is probably going to have success.
Right.
And then you can say, hey, this has been working. I can switch to
Dial
it.
in.
And it's
Dial.
like you dial it in faster rather than everybody starting with an egg and a girdle bug.
Yeah, because I didn't keep fishing that yellow stimulator. I said, let me get that hare's ear.
Yeah.
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 That's
So
right.
it helps to have your buddies kind of, hey, let's fish for 30 minutes and then check with each other and be like, hey, you having any luck?
Right.
And then you get the intel of, this
Right.
has been crushing.
Well, and that's fishing socially. That's always more fun. And to have a successful outing with like 3 or 4 people, then you need to do the leapfrog thing, and fishing. But we'd fish 20, 30 minutes, come back, chat. Like,
stand
how,
there.
How was that run? Oh yeah, it was good. We had this, we had that happen. But talk about it and
Make some observations.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a good way to approach it. Now, before we kind of close this out, I want to get your thought on how your approach is. So if you start off with a particular fly or a particular technique and it's not working, how do you approach the next change?
I'm more likely going to go smaller.
You want my tactic? Man, this is giving a big secret, Shannon. I go by size or color, and I start at one end and work up or down, depending on what it is. So if it's color, I might start with white or black, depending on which end, and work towards the other.
Okay.
And then I'll work size.
So if
I want to do
so
size
if you go
too.
color, so if you start with white, it's not working. Your next
Would be like maybe an olive.
go okay. So I'm saying, are you going to go from this extreme and then this extreme?
No.
and then
I
it's
work
kinda-
all the middles too.
Okay, so you're going to go
So like,
start
let's
here.
use a
boom,
woolly
boom,
bugger.
boom.
Let's
Okay.
just
You're
say,
talking
hey,
about streamers.
no, I'm talking with nymphs and stuff too. Because like a Frenchie, you could start with a pink and then work up to like a purple,
Yeah.
and then
Mhm.
maybe like a darker.
If
color.
a pink Frenchie ain't working, I'm going home.
But like for color, like a woolly bugger, I might start with a white, and then go to an olive, and then maybe a brown, and then a black.
Okay.
All right. Or if it's a color thing, like I just mentioned with the Frenchie, I may change that up. And same thing with Frenchies. You can tie a Frenchie with a regular pheasant tail, like a natural, or you can have a red, or you can have a black, or you can have an olive pheasant. So you can change that color.
Right.
And that's kind of how I've always approached it. And then if it's not working, with multiple flies doing that, then it's like, all right, there's depth, there's tippet size. Do I need to put split shot on because the water's high? There's so many variables, but that's just how I do it. I kind of have a starting point and a finishing point, and if it doesn't work, it's like, let's figure out something else.
Sure.
So
there you go.
what y'all got?
No,
You just stole my idea.
No,
That's what that was.
No,
He's over here getting intel.
that's what
There
you
you
do.
go.
You're smart.
That's it.
That's how you approach.
Yeah,
That's how you go into it.
it's the
Yeah.
best way to do it. Just figure
Well,
out.
I
how
mean, it's
everybody
like
else
golf.
does
I mean, I know a 9-iron gets me this. I know a 7-iron gets me that. So if I'm 200 out, I can't use that 9-iron.
it. Unless you're pumped up on adrenaline.
Now, let's just let folks know we're fishing confidently where we know that there's fish. So this is not like blindly into a place. I mean, if you're going to a place for the first time and we don't know it, you know, that's just understand you have to look at that a little differently too. So it is.
And we're talking mostly trout. Obviously, if you go to different species, things change different. You know,
Sure.
if you go talk to somebody about fishing at the coast, totally different ball game probably.
Amen.
Or fishing a lake, you know, or pond or something.
Sure. Absolutely.
So,
Yeah. And these are the same questions that we have when we go somewhere.
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
I mean,
it's
I
a
went somewhere
very-
new. Dawn and I fished over there, south of Asheville, and I had never fished there before, but I was being lazy. I didn't feel like changing all. I was like, well, if they're not eating this caddis, well, I know there's fish here, but I just really wanted to see them come up and eat it. And I didn't change a lot.
Gotcha.
I'm
I didn't
hard-headed
catch
that way.
much.
When I personally fish, most of the time it's dry fly or streamer. I'm not a crazy nymph guy, so I kind of
Gotcha.
I'm hard-headed.
Now, when I got it, that same body of water,
Yeah.
you did a bunch of changing.
no, we threw nymphs and we railed it.
Oh, there it is. All right, there
That's one thing. If you're going to fish it and go back and take somebody, you don't want to crush it. You want to.
Yeah.
I mean, be smart.
Yeah.
You know, just don't go beat down the fish. You need to go.
I'm
back
just trying
and
to
catch it
locate.
again.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's very, very true.
Well, there you go.
Absolutely. So I think it's all good stuff, and
Thanks, Scott.
I think it's a great subject, and we could go on a long
Man,
time
you could
about
talk
it.
about this for hours.
And you get like subtopics,
Oh yeah,
you know, out of it too.
Yeah.
because
you
we
know, for
didn't
sure.
talk about split shot or things like that
Yeah.
that like affect like
Yeah.
that you could approach with.
But
mean,
I
there's
think-
so many things.
But I think we covered, hey, you know, what did we do, and you know, looking at it, some observations you can make visually, and then start to work it from there. So
That guy today said, Neil said, man, that's a mighty lot of nymphs you got in that box. I was thinking, yeah, and I probably use 4.
and that's the confidence flies.
Yeah. I mean, there's flies in that box I hadn't
Right.
touched
Right.
in 2 years.
That's one of the things I want to do this summer is really downsize again and get back to the basics. And
Well, I know.
Really
I remember
skilled.
looking at Ryder's box that used to work here for us when he was in high school and in the comp scene for the youth, USA youth team and all that. And his fly box was all the same color. It's just every row was a different size. The next row was different size and different colored beads, but it was all olive.
Yeah.
I mean, every bit of it, you know, and it's like, that's what's in the water.
Yeah.
It's just magic seeing what color bead they're going to, and size they're going to be on that day.
yeah, most of the stuff is kind of a darker color. Absolutely. Well, perfect. Well, great
There you
job. Just definitely want to remind everybody about the Hook Fly Co event coming up here next weekend, I believe. Brian
Is that
hosting.
next weekend?
I think so. Isn't
April 17th.
it? Is it?
It might be next weekend.
Dude, it's
Oh my
next.
God.
It's next weekend. So that will be happening with Hook Fly Co. Is coming. Brian
Pop that
Hester.
up.
Oh, yeah.
So
Graphic time.
go ahead
party
and get that up
time.
there.
There it is.
And
It ain't going to be no JV art show.
no, it ain't no JV.
This is varsity, baby, as
You know,
Brian would say.
that's
This
right.
is varsity.
It's right, and
Before you come to it, you should go listen to the podcast with him on it.
absolutely.
Yeah, Seymour
Brian
Bizarre.
Hester,
Check out his website. Yeah, he'll be here. He's going to set up probably Friday midday, I'm hoping. And then it'll be here all day Saturday, and he'll be in here, and he'll have some merchandise, T-shirts, with
So stuff for purchase.
stuff for purchase, prints, originals. I'm gonna have one on display that he did for me, man. It's awesome. It's got a Buffalo Trace bottle of bourbon with my hatch reel and rod leaned up against it.
Some folks came in today to take a look at that one.
Did they really?
Yeah, they were actually neighbors of Brian.
Okay.
And his daughter is moving up here to Whittier. So
Ah,
so Phil and Emily came in to see Brian. So Brian, if you're listening, they told to say hello.
I got
so
that
I
thing
did.
hanging.
I
It's in
told
the
them, I
house.
said that one's in your house,
Yeah.
but they wanted to come in and take a look at it.
It will be here. He actually asked me to bring it for the show, so it is coming. Yeah.
Yep. So there you go, folks. So that's coming up there. That's a good one. The podcast with Brian was great.
Yeah.
He was a great listen. He was a real good one. So if you want to go back, and if you haven't listened to that one, go back and hit that one for sure.
Definitely.
Absolutely. We'll get into a guide tip of the week and the fishing report there.
Fishing report.
Fishing report brought to you by our good friends at Norvice. Tie better flies faster.
There it is.
And efficient.
I was waiting for Dale and efficiently. That's right.
And
It's kind of a pun. Fish. Italy.
You were crushing that before that.
I know. I'm tired, man.
You are tired.
It's 79 degrees on the water today. It took it out of me, man.
So how was the fishing? Since you fished today,
It was
what's the
slow.
report?
So they stocked the tug today. I mean, we saw the stocking truck go by. We see them. We're on the left bank kind of fishing. The water was up still from all the rains last week. So I'm looking for fish by the bank. I see this stocking truck over there on River Right, on the South River roadside. I said, well, boys, I guess we're going to the right side of the river.
To the right, to the right.
Let's make it easy.
And I was like, well, I said, guys, it's actually a decent hole over there above where they're stocking, so we're not going to go right up to the truck. And here comes the truck gang is what I guess we need to come up with a name for them.
Oh, they're following
The
them.
guys that follow the truck. Yeah.
Maybe that's a challenge. If you folks have a name for that, drop us
let us
that
know what
in the
that's
comments.
actually called.
Sounds like Dale might be in that group now.
No.
Did they get like
Definitely
a
not.
card,
New member.
like a member's
But
card?
I think so. We had 800 CFS today, and I did notice there was some change in the flow at some point today, the fish was slow. I mean, we missed fish. We should have had more, the stocking truck. I think putting the fish with high water on top of the fish that they stocked in like March, and then the ones from, I guess the fall stockings. I think it just laid them down, and the fish didn't know what to do with that high water, and it was very silty, not like muddy silt, but a lot of mica specks in the water. I didn't take a temperature or anything like that on the water, but not a lot of caddis hatching, and this is the tuck. So, but we actually had better success floating between the 116 bridge and Dillsboro.
Yeah.
So
The lower section there.
yeah, but in the middle.
Yeah.
So, and those fish hadn't been weighted to and
Yeah,
caught
they haven't been hit
100
as hard.
times
Yeah.
and all that. So I think that helped. But yeah, it was a productive day. The whole way we fished the whole top to bottom. But man, the creeks are on fire.
Yeah, the national park is still getting good reports.
Well, and I was high elevation national park Saturday, and Olive El Care Caddis, lighten it up. Number 20 Adams parachute, lighten it up. So, it was fun. Got up there with my buddy Matt from Northern Virginia, and our two families, and we just kind of took turns fishing Kephart Prong, and it was fantastic. So, it was a good time. Park's fishing great. Water temps are, I saw while I was gone down to Florida, the water temps dropped down into the lower 40s with those.
Got chilly.
It did. It was 27.
I guess that was
degrees a couple
dogwood
nights.
winter, wouldn't it be?
No, that's because the dogwoods ain't bloomed yet.
The ones up on my mountain are blooming.
No, the ones in my house ain't.
Well, I've got white.
You got
bloom-
dogwoods blooming.
Promise you.
They're dogwoods. I know you should know.
Yeah, I'm telling you, they're blooming.
I ain't seen no dogwoods blooming nowhere yet, Bobby.
Because then blackberry winter's at the beginning of May.
You got any dogwoods blooming, Shannon? Thank you.
I'm
Thank
telling you,
you.
they're in the woods up by my house. They are.
I don't hear you, man.
That's
Yeah, let me turn that back
There
on
it
right
is.
there.
yeah.
There's no kidney stones blocking the channel today, so had all that water. Not like the ship over there in the Suez, but no, I actually the dogwood at the house has not popped out yet, and there's two of them.
Maybe you're
But
sitting on top of a volcano or something.
but the
you.
But pears, you're
Yeah, the pears are
seeing.
bloomed out.
But I have
Those are
seen
pretty much done though.
Yeah.
I have
pears
seen
are
some
over.
dogwoods in other places though.
That's what I'm saying.
But those at the come to think of it are just not. Yeah.
Well,
I'll be
yeah.
dead.
the fish.
I mean, I don't know.
So the tuck is still high,
yes.
but the creeks are back in fantastic shape.
Yeah, and the thing about the tuck is a lot of this has to do with that last. We missed the week on the podcast, but we got a lot of rain,
Yeah.
and those lakes shot up really, really high.
Dude,
So,
Fontana looked full from the overlook. the other
and
day.
typically they try to get that around Memorial Day.
Yes. There was
And-
no shoreline from where we could see
Yeah.
at Cleman's Dome. No shoreline.
So,
Yeah.
so understand that if you're planning to fish the tuck or Upper Nantahala now, they're actually running water across.
That's
you know,
right, the
the
spillway,
gate,
yeah.
spillway gates open. There's the warning.
Is that maintenance related?
It does not say, but no. If you look at the lake,
did the lake fill up?
the lake is way high.
Yeah.
It is several feet above full pond,
Yeah.
and they're trying to get Cedar Cliff back down. Between 60 and 70.
Yeah.
It jumped up from 72 feet to 82 feet.
Uh-huh.
And that system that came through Noonan and stuff, and so they're having to
Noonan.
get that water back down.
Yeah.
So it's going to affect your tailwaters, but you're right. The park waters are looking really good. Any of your wild waters,
All those places on the
West
fly
Fork.
trail, the
Yeah.
Brookie, the blue
Yeah.
lines, the high elevation
Yeah.
stuff, they're
Time
there.
to go to them. Yeah.
I have observed in the gauge on the Luch,
The Luch.
the
There it is,
temperature.
Bobby.
The temperature.
Yes, it's sticking.
The temperature is, with now that we're past the 22s and the 25s, we're starting to see that creep up. So what you can observe in the morning is you can see about a 6 to 8 degree temperature boost throughout the day right now in the pattern we're in. So that's going to, mean that the water's warming up.
Yeah.
And it's going to affect how the fish react. And it's warming up to a good spot for the fish
Right,
to be
yeah.
active. It's a good time to be here. Gin Clearwater, and everything's greening up.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Turkey season.
Watch your shadows.
Yeah, that's right.
Watch your shadows. And you can fish longer. You don't have,
Yeah.
with this
It's what,
longer
light
days.
till 8 o'clock or
Yeah,
later?
you can
Yeah.
start to
I
fish
dare
longer.
somebody to go fish the Tuck until dark.
Let's go.
I mean, no, I'm just. I
mean-
want listeners to fish it. Nobody does. I mean, it's amazing.
You can do a half-day trip with us, and you can start at 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
And have it.
And
honestly.
a lot of dry flies.
Yes, absolutely.
Maybe not catch the monster, but you'll have your fill of it.
Sweet.
Come
Come do it.
They
That's
really
it.
should.
Yeah, request that late evening float.
Yes. I have mentioned that to people.
I will gladly
they're
tell you
like-
that my wife will not let me guide that.
Yeah,
I'm
but
just
but we got. But
Yeah.
it's as far as going and having a chance to throw dries in sight fish.
Yeah.
You can, and you can get. I explain it almost like a Western feel fishing.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, it gives you a chance to maybe make a longer cast with a dry to a fish that you've identified and you've watched it feed that you can't do in other places.
Well, and a
around
lot
here.
of for some reason our fishery here, even in the park, it gets a rap for banking hour fishing, and it shouldn't be that way. I mean, we didn't meet the shot today until 10 o'clock.
Right.
We had the river to ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
and we passed a few other boats.
Because
up
you were
top.
behind everybody and let
Yeah,
them go.
but we had the river to ourselves.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why the fishing was slow. But I don't know.
I mean, yeah.
We still caught a massive fish.
Well, think to the summertime. In these wild stream that you're focusing on, as it gets hotter, you want to be fishing and potentially, if you fish morning, off the water by 10 o'clock.
That's right.
But yet you've got the late evening to fish it up until dark.
And them light Cahills just. Ooh.
Absolutely, that'll be coming up before long.
Oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
That's coming.
Whispers of a Cahill hatch.
Easy fly to tie to.
Yeah.
That it is.
I don't know about. Yeah. Flying ties.
What's the guide tip of the week? Anybody got one? I actually have one.
I figured you would have one there.
It's
but-
funny y'all talk so much about the high water because
Mhm.
my guide tip of the week was have a plan B when you go somewhere to fish. Don't get set on I'm going to fish this river when I get there because when you get there it may not be fishable for what you're going to do. I've heard this 3 times this week already. It's already Tuesday about we came to fish the Tuck and we can't wait it. And they're like clueless of anything else. And hey, they did the right thing. They came to the fly shop. But it seems like they're extremely disappointed that they can't fish the Tuck. And I'm like, man, there's so much good water around here. So be prepared to use that plan B. Have that plan B prepared. Do some research on it. It's fun to do the research because you learn a lot. You're
There's
like,
a lot
man,
of resources out there.
yeah, I didn't realize that was there. I didn't realize
Sure.
it was only 15 minutes away. I thought the Tuck was it. I've heard that before. So I think having that plan B for, if we get inclement weather or high water or the dams aren't doing what you thought they would do because
Right.
they get changed all the time. We know that. Have that plan B. I think that's an important thing.
There
to
are
have.
very few things we can control.
That's right.
Duke Energy's not one of them.
That's right.
Yeah. So what did you touch on the Nantahala? They were releasing water.
I haven't, and this is a good segue into that. We did. We actually just kind of hit on that about having the
They're spilling
spillway gate
over
running
into the
over.
upper.
And that's
Yeah.
not a recreational release.
It's not, and it says that on their lake level page. If you go back and watch that video on where I go over that. Also, this weekend on the West Fork, which they're going to be dumping water for a recreational release as well.
the Tuck.
Yeah,
West Fork
West
of the Tuck.
West Fork of the
So
Tuck.
it'll
So
be a
that's
little higher.
that's coming up. And Bobby had a great point. go back and listen to the other podcast, or if you're a YouTube watcher, watch the other ones about the other waters that we hit in the area.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know the Tuck is a draw. It's been promoted a lot, but man, the Tuck is just a blimp. It's a small part.
It gets a lot of press.
It gets a lot of press. Man, there's so much more water out there. So, I get it. You're disappointed to be like us trying to go somewhere to fish a specific water and we can't. But we want to fish.
That's it.
Go fish and have a good time.
There's
So
still a
there's
lot of good
opera places to go. And now, if we get a total 3 inches of rain, yeah, that's a little different.
Yeah.
Can't control that. But now, there's other places to fish. So.
And it's if you go anywhere. If you go out west or up northeast or anything, like have a backup plan to what you think you're going to fish.
Mm-hmm.
And hey, that backup plan may be going to the brewery if we get 5 inches of rain.
And look at the water as it goes by,
but,
and think about what could have been.
But kind of have that prepared so that you're not super disappointed.
Yeah,
so.
But at that point though, you're safe.
That's it.
You can talk about it and you can hit it another day.
That's it.
Have something to look forward to for sure.
Absolutely.
Good job.
Well, cool deal, man.
Good.
I'm hungry.
Well,
I'm Dale.
I'm glad you are. Just stick here and go ahead and get this bad boy edited out and be ready to rock and roll, man. So good deal. All hearts and minds clear.
Yeah, man.
Tim, I don't want to do this again. Got a special thank you to Norvice for making this episode possible
And efficient.
To learn more about the Norvice fly tying system, visit www.nor-vice.com. Don't spell out hyphen. Ain't that right, Dale? Or visit them on YouTube at nor-vice. Don't spell that out either. To see the Norvice in action.
Sounds German. Hyphenweiss.
Oh, we could be on to something. He's an O'Neill.
Oh, yeah. That's not going to go over well.
Oh, my gosh. So, anyway, if you have any questions or anything, be sure to check that out. Or even on our YouTube channel, go to our fly tying videos. Got a lot of stuff up there, too, with us rocking and rolling on the Norvice. So, thank you, Tim. Sorry I missed you there a couple of weeks ago on the outtake read. That was my bad. That's what happens when you get 50 and you're headed that way this year. So, just so you know that. All right. Good show, guys. Let's go home. That wraps up another exciting and informative episode of the Tuckcast with a splash of bourbon, presented by Tuckasegee Fly Shop and Guide Service, located at 3 Depot Street, Bryson City, North Carolina, and 530 West Main Street, Sylva, North Carolina. Be sure to visit www.tuckflyshop.com for streamflow information, book a guided trip, or even shop for your favorite Tuckasegee Fly Shop gear. Follow the crew on Facebook at Tuckasegee Fly Shop, Instagram at Tuck Fly Shop, and on YouTube at Tuckasegee Fly Shop. If you have a question or comment, feel free to send those to info@tuckflyshop.com or give us a call, 1-828-488-3333. For Coach Dale Diesel Collins, Bobby the Bearded Wonder Bennett, I'm Shannon, Big Miss Messer. We'll catch you next week. Be sure to catch a few fish out there, won't you? Y'all take care.